the fourth, hence my background. And we'd like to welcome you today. I am here to welcome you to Zoom this morning and through Facebook Live to the Kansas City Oasis crew and all those hanging out with us this morning. So the human experience is better when it is shared. And so we are really pleased that you've chosen to gather with us this morning. In case you don't know, we are a place where we gather around 5 values, which are people are more important than beliefs, meaning comes from making a difference, reality is known through reason, human hands solve human problems, and be accepting and be accepted. Today, we have yet another awesome lineup for you. Our in-home music guest is JJ Cantrell, who's going to play some awesome songs. I got to hear some already, and they sound great. He's going to do awesome. And then, of course, everybody's favorite community member, MK Mustard, is going to be doing a community moment with us. And then we will have David Allen Vargo, who's going to tell us a bit about Audible books and theater as well. So to get things started, we're going to start with JJ and his first song, which will have awesome lyrics. Are you ready, JJ?
Walking on the moving sidewalk at the airport, moving faster than everybody else. Walking on the moving sidewalk at the airport. Just like life, the left side is for passing. With the pedal, the pedal, the head, the back, the pedal, the pedal, the head, the back, the pedal, the pedal, the head, the back, the pedal, the pedal, the head, the back. Standing on the moving sidewalk at the airport, suitcase on wheels in tow, pulse very hard. Standing on the moving sidewalk at the airport, please step to the right side is for standing. With the pedal, the middle, the head, the back, the pedal, the pedal, the head, the back, the pedal, the middle, the head, the back, the pedal, the middle, the head, the back. Walking on the moving sidewalk at the airport, looking up ahead to see when this ride will end. Walking on the moving sidewalk at the airport, just like that you're back to where you began. You slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push, slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push, you slam on the brakes and the forward I push. That's a song called Moving Sidewalk by Keller Williams, who is a really good guitar player. Now that I've ruined my picking hand for the rest of the morning. All right. I'm gonna try a new one. You know the tradition. I've worked on this like a very little bit. Also talking to catch my breath. Um, this song's on my list of sad songs, and so be aware. You can turn the volume down if you're not in the mood. Um, and then I'm gonna try it. I don't even have my little lyric cheat sheet up, so we'll see how this goes. Driving home to be with you. The highway's divided, the city's in view. As usual, I am almost on time. You're the last thing that's on my mind. Wish I could tell you the way that I feel, but tonight is the night I fell asleep at the wheel. No commotion, no screaming brakes. Most of it's over before I awake. Left the ceiling, the coffee cup drips. While out my window, the horizon does flips. The worst part was hitting the ground, not the feeling so much as the sound. Can't help but wonder if all this is real, 'cause tonight is the night I fell asleep at the wheel. Rubberneck traffic, passers by, a slow motion Walter, the fire engine guy, stand around with their mouths open wide. Heard some idiot ask if someone's inside. With the jaws of life they tried and they tried. Nobody here knows how I feel, 'cause tonight is the night I fell asleep at the wheel. I guess it's over now, 'cause I've never seen so much, never seen so much, never seen so much, never seen so much. I guess it's over now, 'cause I've never seen so much, never seen so much, never seen so much love. In all the confusion, there's something serene. I'm just a posthumous part of this scene. Now I'm above looking in, as the radio blares real thin. I can see my face smirk with a grin. And you're the last thing on my mind. You're the last thing on my mind. You're the last thing on my mind. You're the last thing on my mind.
Okay, thank you, JJ. If you can all give some hand claps, hand waves, do your thing to show some appreciation for JJ's awesome work as always. I have to, your songs made me remember yesterday my kid was like, why are there too many songs about love and not enough about dinosaurs? And I'm like, well, there is one now that I remember about being on the sidewalk, or at the airport. So at least there's that. I'll have to have her hear that one again sometime. But thanks, JJ, as always, for your awesome musical talents. We're going to move on to announcements. We've got some birthdays. Today is Judy Bishop and Daniel Sherwood's birthday. They were born on the 4th, which is always a cool birthday. I think my best friend's birthday is today too, so I'm thinking of her. Then Lana Duzan Gerard, her birthday is going to be on the 7th, so please wish her a happy birthday. And Carolyn Cox Gorman, her birthday is going to be on the 10th this week too. So, feel free to give them all of them a shout out and wish them well on their day. Also, next week, I'd like to give an announcement about Center Hirschbielsberger's memorial that'll be taking place. It's going to start at Daryl Ray's at noon next Sunday. I think we'll probably end up having some more info in our Facebook page later. So please look for that. And we'd love to see everybody who can come out next week. Yeah, so moving on from announcements, we have our community moment. So what is that? It's a chance for someone from our Oasis community to share something they've learned or share something about their journey in life or even a favorite pastime. If you're interested in sharing your story, you can always reach out to Mark Dixon. It's easy to get a hold of him through Facebook too. As has become a tradition here at Oasis, we usually ask for 3 words to describe the person and then a warning label. And MK has told us that she is kind, smart, and fun. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. And her warning label is sometimes my mouth goes faster than my brain. Oh, I can so relate. So to transition, MK, please, we'd love to hear your community moment and are so glad you're with us today. Oh, unmute yourself. Still muted. Oh, still muted. I wonder if I can unmute you. Still muted.
I asked to unmute her, but she's got to click the thing that says, yes, unmute.
Can you see it?
Or hold
Yeah.
down Alt.
Hold it.
You got it. You're good.
My goodness, there she is. Well, am I on? Watch the very.
You're good. You're good. Oh no, you're muted again. Oh.
Good. Once I was good once. Am I
You're
good
always
now?
good.
Am I good now?
No, MK, you keep going out. You were okay. Yes,
Am I
now
not?
you're great. You're great. Please. Yeah.
Great is pretty good. I was on here from 10:30, so I don't know how I ended up getting muted. Well, hello everybody. I'm glad to be here. 4th of July. So there are a lot of things I think we can think about for 4th of July. I think it's a kind of an odd time in America to think about patriotism and what we stand for. So I'm inviting all of you to think about within yourselves, what have your 4th of Julys been in your life? And I'll speak of some of mine. About the first 15 years of my life were pretty meh. My family lived for 10 of those years in Kansas City at 47th and State Line. There was a big pasture across the street and a pasture on the left side of us. And now that's where Westwood Racket Club is. So the neighborhood changed and I changed. And when I was a little kid, in those years, about the only thing I remember about the 4th is, well, mother was never going to waste money on fireworks and we were poor, but we had those little snakes We had a couple of boxes. They were pretty cool when I was little because you lit them and they went whoop. So that was fun. And we had sparklers. Big woo. Well, everything, and I've said this before because it's central, everything in my life changed when I was 15. My father began to make some money. That was hard won. Many hard years went into that. He was impulsive. And one Sunday he said, I'd really like to live on a lake. So he opened the Sunday Kansas City Star, looked in classifieds, found houses for sale on lakes, and we drove way out in the country to Blue Springs, Missouri, 2,000 people on Highway 40. And we got to Lake Tapawingo and we found a really cute house and my daddy bought it. That was all in one day in my life. So the lake years have defined the rest of my life. And so relative to the fourth's the most fun day of the year on Lake Tapawingo, probably many other lakes as well. And so in the early years, the fun part, and I'd have been a teenager then, Daddy bought a Chris Craft inboard outboard boat. My brother was 10, so he mostly just liked to buzz around the lake, and that didn't interest me at all. But on the 4th, it was just a very special time. I don't know who began the 4th of July fireworks show tradition. It was up when we came in 53. And because Daddy had the boat, we had the boat. And boats still do this on the 4th for the fireworks show. People come from wherever they live on the lake. And our lake has a 5-mile shoreline, kind of amoeba shaped. So people come in their boats from all over the lake and gather in a kind of a flotilla in front of where the fireworks are going off. Now, if I did that, I'd have to swim over there and well, really, that would mess up my hair. So I'm not going to do that. For the last many years, I have watched from my deck. And at the end of the night, and I know now lots of places you can see fireworks shows, but at the end of the night in those years, to my memory, there weren't so many of them. And our lake really puts on a fabulous show. I could say it's a waste of money, and I guess it's not mine to say because A, I don't pay for it, and B, it brings a lot of people a lot of pleasure. And I'd like to say at this point that the person in my recent years who has put on this phenomenal fireworks show, you're going to know the last name, it's Radford. Our brother Jason Radford's, I was going to check on this, Jason. I think he's your uncle, but he could be your cousin. Is a pyrotechnic wonder man. He has told me that he could, if I want him to, shoot my ashes out into space. That'd be pretty cool. So the fireworks is really wonderful. My other 4th of July memory that's precious is 51 years ago today. I was in the house down the street that I bought when I was 22. My baby girl was due to be born. It was ungodly hot. I was ungodly pregnant. And I sat the day next to a window air conditioner doing the best I could, as we all do all the time in our lives. Everybody waits for Amy. That's what her employees have said. I waited 21 more days before the girl was born. But that was a great, great gift in my life. I'm not complaining. So if JJ was concerned that he might start crying when he sang one of these songs, and he said, well, he doesn't generally cry, that'd be a big thing. Well, JJ, same for me. But I'm going to close with the most memorable 4th of July in my life. And we'll just see where the emotion takes us. Topic of another talk sometime. In 1979, when my kids were 11 and 15 and almost 17, the fulfillment of a life dream for me before I even had kids was to take them on a lengthy trip to Europe. I don't know where a kid who grew up in poverty got this idea, but she got it and she held it. And it took me until I was, I forget how old I was, 42 or 3, I think, because I had bought a piece of property here when I was 22, next to the house. There was an empty lot. I sold that lot and we took half the proceeds and went to Europe for 6 weeks backpacking. We each carried our own sleeping bag and 10 cans of tuna. No extra socks or underwear. You can wash those out at night or you can wing it. The boys had, I think, long jeans. I wore a skirt because it's hot in Italy in the summer and you get a little air coat if you're wearing a skirt. It was the adventure of our lives. I don't know how we did it. No maps, no phones. Well, maps, but I mean no maps on phones. So we happened to be in Copenhagen on the 4th of July. Didn't give it a thought about being the 4th of July. Nobody cares about that in Europe. It's just where we were at that point in our 6-week sojourn, eating tuna all across Europe. And we were at the Tivoli Gardens. And they're in a very old amusement park in Copenhagen. I'd always heard about them. I was real excited to be there and to take the kids there. And they're not like Worlds of Fun because they're not as spaciously open. It's more like what we would think of as a carnival here, I think. And it's old-fashioned lighting. It's quite charming, but it's not as much fun for the kids because they're not really that hot. But that's where we were. And about 9:45 came over the announcement in Danish and in English that the Tivoli Gardens was closing in 15 minutes and people needed to begin the process now of exiting the park. And we happened to be up on a kind of a balcony by the entrance exit. And so there began to be sort of this mob of people that sort of started coming from hither and yon and working their way to the exit entrance. So we could see them. That was kind of fun. All these, you know how it is, you're living a concert and there's always mass of people walking. It's kind of interesting. All of a sudden we started hearing a noise and somebody was singing. We heard music from way, way back there. And we didn't have any idea what it was, but it wasn't too big a deal in the beginning because the Germans sing when they walk and the Dutch sing when they walk, and we just figured they were singing. And we listened a little more. Oh my. At a given point, we realized they were singing deep in the heart of Texas. And we realized it was the 4th of July and we were Americans. So I hope you have a really sweet day. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, MK. I'm really curious if they went clap clap, deep in the heart of Texas. How is the
Yeah,
clapping done? Clap, clap.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, MK, so much. I think that's probably started triggering our own 4th of July memories and some good things to consider at this time of year. So thank you, MK, so much. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is breakout rooms. So this is a time when you can go and take a break or get some coffee or meet and hang out with some other people from our group. And at this time, be aware that little kids can still hear you. So go see if you want to hang out with some people and chat for a little bit, talk about your own 4th of July memories, maybe. And we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Okay, guys? just so you know, David, we
Is
have
it
one
time?
more. Not yet. We have one more, song from JJ, and then after that, just so you know.
Sure.
Okay, I think people are gathering back.
We are back.
Yeah, just about time. Yeah, if everybody can mute themselves now that we're back together, because we want to just hear JJ and his amazing music today. I think JJ will be getting one soon. We'll see his. Yes, great. JJ's looking good. Okay, let's hear JJ's next song.
Let me know in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back to original audio. I remembered this time. Let me know if you can hear everything okay.
if everybody can clap for JJ. Like, when JJ plays, I just like hearing, I feel like we're given something really special just to hear your skills. And I don't know, I could listen to you play all day. It just makes me super happy. And I feel like I'm lucky. I'm lucky to hear you. So yeah, thank you, JJ, so much. Okay, so we're going to move on to our featured speaker today, who is David Allen Vargo. I'd like to tell you a little bit about him before we get to hear what he'd like to tell us today. So David is from Florida originally, and he currently resides in Dublin, Ohio, with his husband, author, and professor, Douglas Whaley, and their 3 cats, Mama, Barney, and Abigail. He has worked as a corporate promoter and is currently director of marketing communications for Evolution Theater Company, Central Ohio's award-winning professional LGBTQ plus theater company. He is a graduate of Chaminade High School in Hollywood, Florida, class of 1975, and holds a BFA in theater from Florida State University, class of 1983. He is a professional production stage manager, playwright, actor, audiobook narrator, voice-over talent, and director. And I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away, David, and talk for a bit. And if you guys have questions as we go, I'll come back and we'll ask them a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Genevieve. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Yes? Okay, cool. I'm going to thank Nikki for asking me to come and speak to you today. And my name is David Vargo, and I've been an actor for all my life. Started when I was a little kid, going to children's theater classes and making theater my career. And then I moved to New York when I was a young man, and then the AIDS crisis hit, and so I came back home and stayed in Florida, working in Florida. Long story short, I guess, we want to talk about my experience with audiobooks, which is something relatively new for me. I've done about 9 books at this point. I've got 2 in the works. And so audiobooks are sort of an interesting thing because I had a friend of the family who she said, David, they're offering a class on audiobooks at our local community center. You should take the class. Because I've been on stage a lot, but I always wanted to do audiobooks, but I never really knew how to go about it. So I took this class this one day, and I went in there, and there were a lot of people, and one gentleman was teaching the class, and it was a one-day class. And I learned more in that class. Well, I learned enough to really get me on my way, because he gave me the name of websites to go to and things to study and how to learn how to do this. A lot of people apparently are starting to do this. I don't know how many of you listen to audiobooks or have any interest in them, but maybe you can tell me later what your experience is, or whether you like them or don't like them, or because some people don't want to listen to them, they just want to read, and I understand that. So I went to this class, and you kind of have to teach yourself. You learn this. I certainly learned it by the seat of my pants. What we decided to do was that we decided to put a sound booth in the house. If you're interested in learning about how to do this, there's lots of different ways to do it, but the way that I found out was to go onto YouTube and put in a search. There's everything is on YouTube, and it teaches you how to become an audiobook narrator for cheap. Like, they say you got to go into an enclosed space that's muffled, So they say use your walk-in closet. So, because it's got clothes on either side, and you can set up your little desk and your recording equipment and everything you need in there. So we transformed one of the walk-in closets in our house into a sound booth. So your initial investment in these things turns out to be a little or a lot. You have to know the software to use. You have to become familiar with it. There's sound software. I use Adobe Audition. And so when you record with these things, if you're not a sound technician, you have to learn basically how to utilize this software to help you to get the sound that you need. So the first thing I wanted to see what there was auditioning. Where do you go to audition? So Audible has a website called acx.com. So you would go to ACX, and on there you can learn pretty much. There's classes, there's an audiobook university, free audiobook university, where you can go to learn all the details. You watch all these different videos, and it basically teaches you what to do. Of course, you have to have the talent and the tenacity to stick with it. What I discovered from doing audiobooks was that it is a lot of time invested. Let's say a book is 7 to 10 hours long, maybe 70 to 100,000 words. Your finished product is going to be maybe 7 hours, but it's going to take you 100 hours in working on that book, because you've got the time in recording, you've got to go back, you've got to fix mistakes, and you have to edit and master it. And what I mean by editing and mastering, you've got to go, once you listen to it, you go back in and you take out the pops and you take out the breaths where it is inappropriate. And then you kind of direct the scene. You have to cut it and splice it so that if there was too long of a pause there, you've got to bring it in and, make it all fit together. So this process of editing is like 2 or 3 times longer than it is to record. So there are narrators and there are actors. So a lot of places will, a lot of rights holders, or who are the people that audition for the books, will say, we want somebody who is able to act this book out, basically. So it's that became my specialty because of the acting. In the audition, you gotta it's about a 3-minute read, and they will send you the script and you read it and you record it and you edit it exactly the way you would want to edit it, and send them an absolutely pristine copy.
God, a lot of Europeans know that.
So when I started, I had a friend who was a published author, and he'd had a lot of books already published. And but he had never had any done with audiobooks. So I wrote to him and I asked him if he would mind if I recorded his book. It turns out that, like his most famous book, his bestseller, he said he had never had it done before and he would like me to do it. So the book turned out to be this tome, and it was like the history of San Francisco during the golden age of gay liberation and that whole thing. And so, I mean, I started out as a newbie doing this major book that had a million different characters in it. And so I had really kind of bitten off more than I could chew. I didn't realize what I was doing or what I was taking on because I wasn't familiar with the software that I needed. I mean, I was sort of familiar with the software, but I didn't realize Audible really has these very particular requirements and specs that when you submit it, it's got to be perfect, or they're going to send it back to you and say fix it. So it took me over a year to record this book. And sometimes I had to record chapters over and sections of chapters over and over again because I really didn't know what I was doing. But I finally got it up, got it finished, learned what I needed to learn to make it right. And so it was the first book that went up there. And if you go to Audible or you belong to Audible and you look up my name, David Allen Vargo, you'll see the book there, the very first book that I did, which was Some Dance to Remember. And so after that, I decided I was going to start auditioning for these books. ACX.com is the website, the primary website that you go when you're starting out. It's connected to Audible and it's connected to Audition. And it's, they have a section where you can view the books that are taking auditions that they want to have recorded. You can read a little bit about it. You can see how well it sells on Amazon to know if it's going to be a popular book or if you're investing a lot of time in a book that is really going to go nowhere. So I went on and I started scrolling through the books, and some of them were like cookbooks and how-to books and self-help books, and some are spiritual books, and some are all sorts of different things like that. And you can also filter out the books that you don't want to see, the genres that you're not interested in doing. Like the guy that taught us in that community class where I went to listen to how to do this. He was a very religious man. He was like a preacher on the side. And he would not do any erotic novels of any kind. So he checked off that he was not interested in doing any adult literature. So that's fine. And so I opened it up to everything, and I'm scrolling through this thing, and I saw this cover with this very muscular, hairy-chested, swarthy-looking, really good-looking guy on the cover. And the name of the book was Tex. So I was like, this is the book for me. So I read the audition side that they give you. It's a little like a paragraph they want you to read. And I was like, this is a gay book. This is interesting. And but I said, this I got to do because I can do this. It was about bikers, gay bikers, who own a bakery, who run this bakery coffee shop. And this biker club is all these guys that are like rough, rugged mechanics and men who do all this benefit for society. Like they they take care of kids that have disabilities and things like that. So this is sort of like, there's some truth to some of all of this, but it's like this ideal society where there's no homophobia, there's no problems. So I was like, this is a really strange book. So I wrote to the rights holder and I told her, I said, I really should do this. I must do this book. I want to do every book in this series. It just sounds like something that I really resonate with. And so I got hired to do it. And I subsequently recorded, I came in at book number 5, and I've recorded 5 through 10. So there's six books in the series that I've recorded that I went straight from, and the reviews that I got were terrific, which was surprising. I was very glad to get these reviews. But I had to do some research on this first book when I was doing text. And I went online because I did not realize, I had no idea. Number one, I learned that romance novels are the bread and butter of the publishing industry. That of all the books, they sell more romance than anything else. I also did not know that there was a subgenre of romance that is male/male, female. So gay romance. I did not know that there was an entire genre. So when I went out, I went talking to my friends on Facebook. I was like, how come I never heard of gay romance novels before? And they're like, well, because the gay, we don't really approve of them because they don't show the lifestyle as we lead it. They don't, as we have lived it. It's like, they don't take into account all the struggle and the suffering that we've been through and the fighting and how we got to where we got. And it's just as if the whole world it just automatically accepts it. And I thought, well, I think that's a good thing. But a lot of the more socially active gays just really look down on it. So I read this book and it just had all sorts of really fine values in it. That these people, there was no problem, there was no homophobia, there was caring and kindness, and yes, there was sex. And the sex was descriptive, but it seemed accurate to me, but then I'm like, who's writing this? And so I discovered that these books are written by women, for women. I didn't realize that there was women who would be interested in reading about gay romance. So I found the blog. I found a blog that explained it to me. She was like, we love you guys. And we want you to have happy endings. We see you suffering in the world and not being accepted, and so we're writing these books because we're writing the way we want the world to be. We want to be the change, So for myself as a gay man, reading these 6 books. In this series of gay bikers it was such a pleasure to become all these different people, these like fine men, who were very uber masculine and were not afraid whatsoever to show their feminine side, to be in touch with their feminine side, and the stories were not fluff. They weren't stuff that you could they weren't trash novels. These were stories that were very well written, or I wouldn't have kept doing them. They were well written, they had great storylines, terrific plots, and some very poignant, moving, funny moments. And they're all written by the same author team. I think it's 2 women. One goes by a masculine name, but they all have pseudonyms. In fact, the first thing that I was asked was, what do you want your name to be? And I was like, what do you want? What's your pseudonym? And I'm like, just my name. And she's like, really? I guess really, I found out, maybe people don't want their names associated with gay romance novels. And yet, there are people who make
their entire career out of reading just romance novels or gay romance novels. I've since discovered who the stars are in the industry, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. But now they have told me that they are going to be moving into heterosexual romance, and they're going to be hiring male and female teams. So if I had a friend who was an actress, I would bring her in and we would read this book together with her taking on the female roles and me taking on the male. Because it is a little challenging when you're a man, especially with a voice like mine, to do the female voice. But you learn how to do it. I mean, it's easier for me to do it because I can switch into that. I don't have a problem speaking like feminized. But then the software can also help you because you can raise the pitch a little bit in the software, which completely changes your voice again. So it almost becomes like artificial intelligence. So you're changing your voice for you. So there's that. So these books are selling like crazy. I'm shocked. Every month they pay you, and this money keeps going into the account, and the books are really selling. Whereas the first book that I did by the author, the gay author, who was The History of San Francisco in story format, wasn't selling quite like these gay romance novels, which were just because they already had a built-in audience and they had a marketing plan in place and all of that. So that was interesting. And then but I've decided to step back from the gay romance novels because I'm starting to become identified with gay romance novels, and so I'm doing 2 regular books now in the process. So there's that. There's so much really that you learn about doing this, and regular books. Just normal books, not being romance. So I don't know. I would like to open it up and let you guys ask some questions, and that might help me.
Yeah, great, David. Thank you so much for just explaining how you came into it and, how we should prepare if we're thinking about it, and just your journey. I mean, first off, that's fascinating, what the inside scoop on some of the areas of audible books or audio books. We do have some questions, so let's go down the line. JJ wanted to know, it sounds like that first one may have been the most frustrating, but what was the most frustrating project you've recorded?
Yeah, the first one was the most frustrating because they have sound requirements, and it has to be between this megahertz and this megahertz. You have to record at this level between this level and then master it and produce it so that it's at this speed and at that volume and this and that, and make sure that and if you don't have a background in sound engineering, then you're kind of at a loss. You have to go onto YouTube or speak to, if you have a friend who's a sound engineer, that's a real help, but I didn't. And I was willing to hire somebody to help me, but in the meantime of trying to find somebody to help me, I was just going on YouTube and pulling out all the things that I could, and I learned from there. And I finally found a recording that showed me exactly what ACX wants in order for you to pass and how that is achieved in the software that I had. Once I had that, everything went smoothly. But it's like when you don't know, you don't know. And so if you have to learn the tricks of the trade, basically the skills. So it isn't just reading. There's a lot of other skills that you have to have, and a lot of them are sound engineering skills, software skills. It's one thing to read it, but then you've got to, they don't provide the people to edit it for you. You have to edit it. Unless, of course, you're Stephen King or whoever is reading for him, you know. But you yourself have to do all that work. And it's time consuming. But that was definitely the most frustrating. Not being able to get it passed. Every time you would put it through, it would bounce back. Not acceptable, not acceptable. And then you have to figure out what to do. But now that I know how to do it, it goes through in a second.
Okay, so a lot of prep on the tech part for anybody that wants to try it out. Okay, Jocelyn said that she loves books on tape and but loves holding books in her hands too. What has been your favorite project, and how does payment work if you are comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so payment works in a couple of ways. You can do primarily a lot of these places, these rights holders want to do what they call a royalty share, which means that they don't pay you anything up front. You don't get a per finished hour fee. So they're not, if they're going to pay you by the hour, remember, they're not paying you for all the hours that you put in. They're paying you per finished hour. So it may take me 50 hours to create a 7-hour book, and I only get paid for the 7-hour book, the finished product. And then if you do a royalty share, it's usually a 50-50 royalty share, which means that after Audible gets their 50%, you and the rights holder split the remaining 50%. So you're really getting 25%, but it's still money. It ends up, if your books are available for sale all over the world, which they are on Audible, pretty much, except for, but you're still making money. So that just automatically, then you give them your checking account information, your bank information, and then they just deposit it into your account every month based on the sales of that month. So there's that. Then there's you can contract with somebody they'll just pay you a flat fee. I've got this 3-hour book for children and I want to pay you $250 or $300 or whatever. You can contract that way. You contract always through ACX. That way they make sure you get paid, and that way they make sure everything is legal. So different ways. There's three different ways. So you can do a royalty share, you can do a flat fee, and then you can do a per finished hour.
Awesome. Another question is, who are these gay romance novels written by? Okay, all right. Well, you kind of answered that, right? These ladies. Let's see. How does a person get started? I understand that talent is necessary, and I understand that you took a class, but I'm curious about what advice you'd give in a bit more detail.
Well, you have to have the time to devote to it. I think you have to have some passion for reading, because you're going to be doing a lot of reading, and or a passion for acting. Okay? Now, I don't have a real passion for reading. I never did. Unfortunately, I have some problem. I start to read and I fall asleep. It's not good for an audiobook narrator, but it's true. If I want to sit in the living room or the bedroom and I want to read a book, the next thing I know, I'm dozing. So for me, in order to keep it interesting for me, I got to act it out. So that's what I'm saying. You got to love the reading because it's going to be a lot, or you got to love the acting. And so another thing that helps is the ability to do different voices, to change, to understand rather than just narrating the book, reading, which a lot of narrators do. It can be confusing to the listener if you don't change your voice and take on different characters for that sort of thing, because they don't know who's talking, because the mind wanders while we listen, and we may not hear that he said or John said or something like that. So also there's going to be an investment of money. You got to have the right kind of microphone. You've got to have a microphone that is made specifically for voice actors. You can get that you can research that, get that on Amazon. And so you got to have some familiarity with software. The sound software that you're going to use, really learn it. And I guess my biggest suggestion or recommendation would be to go on YouTube, which is what I did. You have to be very specific. You want to learn, exactly how do I do this? How do I do that? What software is the best to use for this? Or what are my options? I'm telling you, there are videos for everything, and it will teach you, and you'll get your favorites too. You'll have your favorite people that you like to be your teacher on there, because there's a lot of different ones. But yeah.
Could you give like approximately how much money do you think a person, like if they wanted to do this and they're starting from scratch, would you say like 1,000, 500? What would be like a good number to invest?
So if you've got a computer already, you're set. I mean, I had a computer, but I bought a laptop for the booth. Okay, so you got to remember, you may have a computer here on your desk, but hopefully you have a laptop. If you can take the laptop, you can go into your recording booth. So you need to have that. You need to have the software. Software can be cheap or expensive. I mean, I want to say probably on the low end, $500 on the low end. But on the high end, you can go up into the thousands. I probably spent $6,000 to get started because I turned a closet into a sound booth. So I bought all the padding, that goes around, and I bought the microphone, and then you have to buy the condenser, and you have to buy the thing everything that goes through, and I didn't know anything about sound engineering, nothing. And I had to learn that through YouTube, and I would listen to the YouTube teach me how to hook up these plugs and wires, so you have to have some technical skills, but I would say anywhere between $500 and $6,000. If you go on YouTube and you look up how to start audiobooks, inexpensively or on a budget, use those words, then they will tell you. They'll say, somebody will be on there that'll say, yeah, you can get this microphone for this much, but you can get this microphone and it does just as good a job and it's only $60 or something like that. So there are people who are telling you that sort of thing. They're also explaining to you about the payment process. Is it worth it to do royalty share books? There's a whole video on, is it worth your time to do this and all that. So I say YouTube is your best resource.
Awesome. Let's see. How do you keep your voice from going hoarse? Do you schedule a little bit per day?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because it's true. I do have to do it in bits and spurts. So you may have the idea that, I want to sit in there and do 8 hours, or have an 8-hour day, or with a lunch break. It doesn't work like that because the voice does get tired. So you do have to rest every once. When you get the least bit fatigued, you have to step back and rest. It could be for the rest of the day. It could be, for a few hours. Um, when you contract to do these books, you have a time frame. They'll say, okay, we need the first 15 minutes to approve. They have to listen. They listen to the first 15 minutes, and then you send that to the rights holder, and then they'll tell you, okay, this. And they'll usually give you 4 to 5 weeks to do the book. And so far, sometimes I've had to take a little longer to do it, and you just write to the rights holder, and I've asked her, and she was like, absolutely no problem, sure, that's fine, because she knows I'm really going to get it done, and it just need a few extra days. But yeah, you have to get it done in time for them. Yeah.
Okay, great. And have you considered giving a class yourself on
No.
this? Okay.
No, because like I said, I mean, I am still learning this myself, and so I would give a class on it. I guess once maybe when I get 25 books out there. Right now, I'm kind of halfway there, so I don't know. It's but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel so green with it myself. But I mean, it's I've gotten a lot of really terrific response from it. So I'm going to keep doing it. It's definitely something for an older person, somebody that's, as you're getting older, it's something that you can do in your home. You don't have to leave the house, go to a job. Um, and if you're an actor, as you get older, the roles sort of dry up because you can only play grandfather roles, then grandfather roles, and grandmother roles, that sort of thing. But in the recording booth, you can be anybody, and you can be everybody, and you can play all the roles. And I find that it's very fulfilling for me. It's like during the pandemic, it was when I did the majority of those books, and we weren't going out, so I was in the booth, and I was able to do a lot of books and focus on it, and it really helped me keep my feet wet and in touch with my acting skills and how to, and I was able to finish every day and feel like I had been creative. I had done something creative and it was good. So.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Could you repeat the software that you've been using?
Sure. So I use Adobe Audition. Audition is the name of it. It's by Adobe. It's called Audition. But you can use any sound engineering software. Adobe Audition might be, I don't know, but there's other things you can use. I mean, just look up. What I would do is I would type in to your Google search, sound engineering software, or audio software, and anything where that's the one. I'm trying to think of what the major one. There's one out there that they do.
Would it be Audacity?
Audacity, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. That's a good one. Absolutely. Audacity is excellent.
Great. So another member said that they are a fellow narrator. Anyone interested in learning how to get started should look up website Narrator's Roadmap. It's maintained by a well-respected narrator and is widely considered the most comprehensive guide to the industry. So thanks for that. And then Jocelyn asked, this is a bit off topic, but what has been your favorite acting role in general, not just in voiceover work?
Mm-hmm. People ask me that all the time. And I have to say, my favorite acting role is the one that I'm working on. The one that I'm doing. I just finished just as the pandemic hit. I was in a play at our professional theater here in Columbus, Ohio, and it was trying to think. Hold on. Uh, yeah, I was playing Ben Hecht, who was one of the writers of the script for Gone with the Wind, and it was interesting because it had a lot of it was just a real meaty role. So playing Ben Hecht, the writer of Gone with the Wind, was really probably the best for me that I enjoyed. But then we didn't get to do it very much because we got shut down because of the pandemic.
Yeah, and last question, we'll end with this one. So also I've heard that the world of voiceover work is pretty heavily saturated. How do you get noticed?
Good work. If you do good work, you're going to get noticed. And if you do a lot of work, and if you do one and then you kind of just drop the ball, then your name isn't going to be out there. But you got to keep auditioning. Audition, 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 and it doesn't cost anything to audition. It doesn't cost anything to belong to ACX. There's no fees. None of that. There's no charge for ACX.com, which is the primary company, which is the company that Audible and Amazon uses. So there's no charge. And go in and audition as frequently as you want, and you'll get offers. But the thing is, if you're going to audition, you got to be able to produce it. But yeah, I would audition and just keep doing good work.
Awesome. Thank you, David, so much. I think we learned a lot, and I'm kind of inspired. I don't know if I'm going to turn a walk-in closet into a sound room yet, but I definitely am inspired. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for your questions. And we're gonna almost end. We're gonna talk a little bit for a second about Oasis, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are entirely volunteer staffed and donation funded. Our program today is just a part of the wide range of informational, educational, and motivational speakers we offer most Sundays. If you appreciate what you've heard and seen, please consider making a donation. There are a few ways that you can donate too. We are credit and debit card. Through credit and debit card donations, you can text 816. In fact, I will put it in the chat if you want. 816-839-7656. Put that down here for you all. And paste. With a dollar amount you'd like to give. Recurring weekly or monthly donations can be set up online through Simple Give if you go to our website, kcoasis.org, and click on Donate at the top of the homepage. Okay, so we're going to end today with another musical styling from our awesome JJ today. Oh, it looks like we might have another guest musician as well. So that's awesome. And I will see y'all in a minute. So let's go ahead and let them
Remember, we can't
play.
hear you.
Thank you.
Close the chat window, would you, Ariston?
Okay.
My dad's gonna play a song with me. All right, y'all ready?
Hold on.
Wait, what's she saying? She's making a finger. Is everything okay? Give me a thumbs up.
Can you make it a little louder?
Oh.
I see a thumbs up.
Louder.
Louder.
Oh, wow.
I can do that. Check 1, 2.
In this tiny town where I come from, you grew up doing what your daddy does. You Don't ask questions, you do it just because. You don't climb too high or dream too much. With a whole lot of work and a little bit of love, you'll wind up right back where your daddy was. This little bitty town, it ain't nothing new. We all stick around because they tell us to. You swallow your pride just to make your family proud. If I didn't think that it would shut the whole place down, I'd ride my pony right out of this one-horse town. Two little boys on the baseball team, and that might be their only ticket out. All they got is a worn-out knee and a daddy that could have gone all the way. But I hung my saddle up and I settled down. This little bitty town, it ain't nothing new. We all stick around because they tell us to. You swallow your pride just to make your family proud. If I didn't think that it would shut the whole place down, I'd ride my pony right out of this one-horse town. This little bitty town, it ain't nothing new. We all stick around because they tell us to. You swallow your pride just to keep your family proud. If I didn't think that it would shut the whole place down, I'd ride my pony right out of this one-horse town. I'd saddle that pony and ride it right out of this town.
Thanks, Dad.
Wow.
Woo.
So
You're welcome.
fantastic. JJ, oh, okay, too bad. I wanted to ask about that song, but I guess I'll have to talk to him privately sometime. But no, that song rocked. Oh my gosh. I'd just like to end today and say thank you to everybody, for MK Mustard for her community moment, and JJ Cantrell for their amazing musical stylings, and for David, for Alan Vargo for coming and telling us all about audiobooks and how to get started ourselves, and supporting our own ideas to do that as well. Yeah, so everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have a good 4th, whatever you do. Enjoy today, and if you have off tomorrow, that's even better. Take care, everybody, and have a good day.